Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Labor Day edition of the JP Peterson Show. Yeah, we do not sleep here. No days off. Labor Day, we labor. Only because it was such a huge weekend in college football. And we are not going to miss a minute of an opportunity to talk about huge wins by my Noles. USF, Miami takes out the Fighting Irish, number 6 ranked Fighting Irish. Good morning to you, Nick Geddes from Out 3 Sports. How are you?
I'm doing great. I love how you conveniently leave out the school that resides in Central Florida. Thank you for that.
You beat Jacksonville State. That's right. I was talking about the actual.
Yeah, we were having a barn burner.
Weekend.
We were having a barn burner, 0-0 in the third quarter. Anywho, but big weekend for the state of Florida. I think all of the major Florida schools got a win, and 3 of them pick up top 25 wins. I don't know what that means in week 1, but huge weekend for the state of Florida.
Well, it's the first time since 2001 that FSU and Miami got top 10 wins in the same day. It's the first time since 1989 that 4 top 10 teams lose in week 1. So already we've got parity, upsets, whatever you want to call it. To me, it's more, listen, it's week 1. You don't want to go bananas one way or the other. But I think what it does continue to show you is parity continues to be part of the formula. I think NIL, when a lot of people thought that would actually tilt it more towards the richest teams, I thought, well, no, actually it might help everybody because Tulane can spend money too. Oklahoma State can spend money too. Texas Tech can spend money too. Anybody can go out and buy a team now, spend a couple $100 million on payroll if you want to. Who knows? Who cares, right? Now you can do it. And now it's a little bit more different with the new revenue sharing because the NIL deals have to be actually real deals. But you can make it happen. If you want to pay your players, you can do it. So we're getting a little bit more parity. FSU can go out in one season, one off season, and go from 2-10 to whatever that was on Saturday night, which was an ass kicking of the 8th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, I don't want to get too garnet and gold colored glasses here, but if you've been through 2-10, that's why you stormed the field when you beat Alabama. Now, everybody after the fact can say, oh, it wasn't a very good an Alabama team. I heard this narrative. Oh, they were very lethargic. Yeah, they were lethargic because they were getting their dick knocked in the dirt. FSU came out and smoked them, physically smoked them. Now, listen, Alabama had a good first drive. After that, their offensive line, their vaunted offensive line was stymied by a Tony White defense led by little Earl Little coming up and smacking people. They were more physical. They were the more physical team on both sides of the ball. They held, I think they held Notre Dame under 100 yards rushing by rushing for 238, I believe themselves. Tommy Castellanos, who I certainly was not happy with and took him to task for the things that he said about Alabama, backed it up. He went out there with some swagger and freaking backed it up. So, you know what, kid? Say what you want. If you can go out and back it up like that, and I thought he played a tremendous game, a tremendous, gritty, physical football game, and he did something that the Noles had none of last year. He led from the field. And he showed the players what it takes to win big ball games, the effort that it takes, the clutch. He was clutch almost every big third down. He either made a big throw or a big run. He was a difference in the game, and I don't think it was really close in terms of who was the star on that field. Ty Simpson was meh. We didn't think he'd be great, but I think a lot of that had to do with a Noles defense that really confused Alabama a lot and played with a lot of heart. And I'm telling you, that atmosphere, Nicky, I'm telling you, going back to the 90s, That's what it sounded like. I thought the new configuration would be maybe wouldn't be as loud, but I think it was actually louder. Less people, but louder. It was and right before the half, when the Noles are going on a touchdown march, it starts pouring rain, and I mean just coming down. And while obviously most of the alumni are heading for higher ground, the entire student section where the Noles were going did not. They didn't make a move. They stayed there through the whole freaking rainstorm. They did not move. Very proud of the students. Very proud of the alumni. The whole program in general. This was an absolute must-have, big win. And I think it just completely changes the narrative on last year. I mean, last year was just last year. And now you think, well, what can't Florida State do? This Alabama team's as good as everybody said they are. And they've got players. Don't get me wrong. They've got tons of players. I saw all the pundits on the SEC network. They're going to annihilate Florida State. It's not going to be a game. These two rosters are not even close. Blah, 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 blah. And you took a 2-touchdown underdog and made them a 2-touchdown winner. That's a pretty damn big turnaround, not only just in a game, but I think in the sense of where this program can go. And again, you know, I don't want to get too crazy about it, but that 2-10 was the anomaly. That was the anomaly. I mean, Norvell won 10 games the year before, then 13-0, and then 2-10. And it is what it is. We know what it was. But that's not what Florida State is, as much as many of their critics would like to say that's what Florida State is. The numbers suggest something much different. And what you saw the other night suggests that when you get good coaching, and as we talked about, a complete change in the coaching staff, both coordinators and tons of the coaches, which needed to happen, and you bring in 40, 50 new players, including a whole new offensive line, things can change in a hurry. And that's exactly what you saw with Florida State. What a win. Huge, huge for the program.
Yeah, there's so many layers to this game. It's like hard to like figure out where you begin. And I guess the way to put it is, you know, Alabama has spent the last 15, 20 years being the bullies of college football.
Yeah.
And for 4 hours, I mean, really after the first drive, let's just take the first drive where Alabama runs right down the field in 9 minutes. And I was like, ooh, this might be a long day for Florida State's defense. They're not really holding up well against the run. After that moment, I think Alabama had 20-something rushing yards the rest of the game.
How about that?
And from that moment on, the bully got bullied by the Florida State Seminoles. And you talked about the crowd. I can tell you right now, watching it at home, it definitely translated over the television. It was insane. You could tell everybody was truly into it, unlike anything I haven't seen at Florida State, even during the 13-0 season, might I add.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, the energy coming off a 2-10 season. And Thomas Castellanos, I mean, he put it out there, right? You know, they don't have Nick Saban to save them. I don't see them stopping me. And I'm sure I'd have to go back and look, but I'm sure we both teared him to shreds for making those comments when he did.
Oh, we did. I did.
And it could,
for sure.
And it could have gone one or two ways. I mean, it was either going to be one of those things where Alabama's putting that up everywhere, and they're like, you'll see what happens, young man, when we get on the field, or it could serve as a moment where FSU's players just sort of looked around and they said, you know what? So ever since this guy stepped on campus here, and I got this feeling, and I think it was Justin Cryer who said it after the game, they have been buying everything that Thomas Castellanos has been selling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly really impressive that he got there and clearly unquestioned leader of the football team. So it actually served as a galvanizing moment for everybody on that Florida State sideline. Even the coaches, I think, that they were going to go out there and put their best effort forth. And I put emphasis on the word effort because we didn't see any ounce of effort just about from Florida State last year, but it's an entirely different team. They heard all the talk about 2-10, even though most of these players that played in that game, a lot of them weren't even a part of it, to be honest with you. So they had no stink on them, but they were tasked with sort of having to unstink the program. Right. And to me, this was the best victory of the Mike Norvell era. I know he won an ACC championship. I know there's the 2 games against LSU, but when you go toe-to-toe against the Alabama Crimson Tide, the big bad SEC team, coming off what happened last year, and you dominate them to the tune of 230 yards, and you have Ty Simpson fooled all day. You make them undisciplined. Alabama is already an undisciplined football team. We know that. 115th, I think, in penalties last year in college football. Clearly, they have not cleaned that up. And that certainly helped Florida State and went in their favor, but that's on them. I'm not here for the narrative that Alabama is just not the same Alabama, because these same talking heads were telling me, and by the way, I told you last week I had Alabama winning the SEC, okay? And I'm not going to stand down from that after this game, because I know that's a damn talented team over there. That's the best left tackle in college football, Caden Proctor. He got whooped on Saturday. That was the best center in college football, in Parker Brailsford. He had a really bad game. That's Ryan Williams over there, one of the best receivers in college football, right? Jeremy Bernard, who was the only player who had a pulse on Alabama's offense for much of the day. And then that defense has 1 million first-round picks on it. Don't tell me that Alabama team ain't talented. Florida State just took it to them, and they should be commended for what they did for 4 hours the other night in the rain.
Yeah, it's a great point that you make, because 2-10, obviously it leaves a scar. It leaves a scar on the fans, number one. And I think that's why the emotion was so. I mean, just getting up there and talking to everybody around town on Friday night, it was just everybody was on edge. It's like, oh my God! But there was a certain bit of confidence. Anybody that I spoke with who had been around the program, there was a bit of confidence that was like, this is going to be way different. This is going to be way different. It just is. And nobody would say, all right, I think we're going to win, but everybody's like, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. This is a good football team. It has a different mentality. It has leaders. It has leaders on both sides of the ball now, which they did not have last year. And it makes such a huge difference. And the bottom line, the talent level, look, you look at the two rosters. No, Alabama has a better roster. There's no question about it. But that's not what wins games.
Right.
What I wanted to see, and I think what you wanted to see, was the buy-in. To your point, the effort. Like, that's what just was so disappointing last year, is that guys weren't even trying. They just didn't give a rat's ass. And you kind of felt like, okay, Mike Norvell, this is on you. Like, How do you allow this to happen? How do you allow this to happen to your culture? And the bottom line is, when you lose, a Jared Verse and a Jordan Travis, and these guys were just not ordinary leaders. They were phenomenal football players, and they were Pied Pipers, man. Guys would run through a wall. That was such a talented team full of high-character leaders. And the next season was exactly the opposite of that. And you didn't have a strong enough coaching staff to overcome that and instill leaders or find leaders. So they had to go out and find guys. They had to pay them. They had to identify them, and then they had to motivate them. And then they had to coach them up and develop them, which is something FSU has not done in the past 3 or 4 years. But credit to Tony White, the new defensive coordinator, who I absolutely love. I love to hear him talk. I love the way he coaches. I love the way he holds these guys accountable. It's completely different. And Gus Malzahn is just a really, really good offensive football coach. Those guys were not making a whole lot of mistakes. They knew their assignments. They kept it simple. They ran a lot of the same plays, but they executed them extremely well. And Castellanos did something that he's rarely done. He didn't turn the ball over. He did not turn the ball over. And that was huge.
Situation matters so much in college football. And I'm almost like trying to figure out how much of this I put on Bill O'Brien in Boston College now. And I don't want to overreact completely after one game, obviously. Right. But it almost feels like they tried to turn him into like a true pocket passer when it is so clear what his identity is. And it might be one thing that I might have overlooked or I might have not talked about enough. I knew, obviously, Gus and Tommy Castellanos was probably going to be a really good pairing because, this is, again, these guys arrived at UCF together. I mean, Tommy was a big-time quarterback recruit for UCF. Gus went and got him. And for whatever reason, didn't work out, whatever. But here they are reunited 4 years later at Florida State. This is the quarterback that Gus loves. And I think sort of what he did the other day with 14 passes for Tommy, and the rest was all runs, the end around. Gus loves him a good end around. Let me tell you that right now.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it for 4 years. He loves him a good end around. And when you have Mekhi Danzy, who has track speed, that definitely helps. But, yeah, Gus – and also, Gus was I think Gus really got up for this game because it was Alabama. I thought more people were talking about Gus after this football game than they were talking about Mike Norvell or Tony White. To me, it was all about Gus. And then he goes and tweets right after, felt like old times today. I I feel like Gus got his mojo back because I think he lost a lot of it at UCF, but he called a masterful game. And I was going to tell you too, speaking to the effort, I thought the play that set the tone was Squirrel White. He had one
deep ball,
he made one catch. I think that might have been his only target all game, but I thought that was insanely impactful because that was the moment where I watching was like, okay, Florida State's here to play. When you see him, that's a play that Florida State doesn't make last year. Hakeem Williams drops that ball. Jalen Brown drops that ball. Yeah,
everybody.
Exactly. But he lays it out all right there and makes that catch. That's when I knew things were different. And I feel like the team followed right off of that.
Yeah, the end around at Danzy for the touchdown was huge too. That gave you a little feel of Bobby Bowden back in the day. A little bit of end around, just a little bit of trickery, nothing crazy, but a little bit of trickery. And then the 4th and 1 call when they're up 7 late in the game. Listen, I got to tell you, I was like, I don't know about this. This is, but you know what? It was 100% right. He was 100% right.
And did you see confidence. Roy Dell met the O-line or the linebacker rather, first round linebacker Deontay Lawson. He met him right in the hole too.
Yeah, that was the moment. I think if they don't win, if the linebacker wins that, and they get the ball back there, I think Alabama wins the game. But that was the moment, and I'm like, damn. Well, that showed some balls, and it also showed. Hey, listen, you were pushing them around all game. Why not get one more yard to win the game? That was it. And then it just, it went off after that. Then it was just 2 months. It was a TV timeout, the 5-minute seems like 5-minute TV timeout. And while that TV, and they knew that they had the game won, all they had to do was take 3 knees. But during that entire 3-4 minute timeout, I mean, the freaking whole crowd was going bananas. The players were dancing. The crowd was going nuts. That was a whole season's worth of frustration just coming out in the players, in the fans, everybody. And that was a super fun moment. That was a super fun moment. Nobody left early. Everybody was there to celebrate. That was a special moment. Absolutely special moment.
Yeah. And then some other things I sort of took away from that football game. Well, I guess first of all, we talked so much about the offense. I know we talked a little about the defense, but I feel like I think they were the star of that game. And situationally, there was another moment in that game where Florida State at one point got stopped, I think around the 40-yard line. They were just outside of field goal range, and they had to punt. New punter goes straight through the back of the end zone. And I was like, okay, this could be a turning moment in the football game. Let's see what Florida State's defense has. They make a stop. And then immediately they punt the ball back. Jalen Lucas makes an error on the punt return. And I think you had to have been thinking about it too, right?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
I was like, turning point. That's the moment. Yep. Here we go. Oh, last year's FSU is going to creep back in.
It's the only thing you couldn't do in that situation.
Right. I mean, that was a big moment in the game. And what does Florida State's defense do? They bow up and they get a stop on 4th down. Now, Ty Simpson, listen, he could have ran for the first down, but he didn't do it. He decided to throw it incomplete. But that was the story. The defense just kept coming. I looked at it today. They were charted with 29 pressures, 4 sacks, 22 hurries. I mean, they were relentless. James Williams, if he could finish a play, could have had 5 sacks on his own. So that's something to keep in mind of. And then how about the true freshman, Mondrell Desir?
Yeah.
I'm sad because he was committed. Him and his brother were committed to UCF, and then everything happened, and he went to FSU. But I saw a little minute and a half clip of him, the get off for a true freshman, and he wasn't a 5-star or 4-star kid. This was a 3-star freshman. Yeah. So you have two true freshmen right there on defense who are playing. I thought of all the running backs who played, and there were 5 of them they rotated through. I thought Usman Kroma was the best. I think that was pretty clear.
He's a stud. He is a stud. Yes.
So you got, as much as this roster has been sort of transformed by transfer portal and a little bit of the leftover the last couple years, all of a sudden, the one thing that I've been so worried about is Mike Norvell's recruiting and trying to develop these guys. I got 3 to 4 true freshmen, who are playing in that game and making big impacts.
Yeah, and Castellanos only threw it 14 times. He was 9 of 14, which is extremely, obviously, efficient. Now, these wide receivers are going to want a little bit more work than that, and they'll get it. and they'll get it. But in a game plan like this, where you're just running the ball and controlling the game, you don't want to do anything silly. I thought Gus called a great game. He was very much in control. The end arounds were great change of pace. Castellanos was reading the field really well, and they got big plays out of the passing game. They got the one to Jalen Lucas, and that just came so perfectly off the RPO. You could see the whole defense just suck up, and Jalen just get behind him. Perfect throw, by the way, by Castellanos. Absolutely perfect. The Squirrel White one was a little deep, and he went and got it. He made a lot of good throws when he needed to in big-time situations. So it was such a clean game for FSU for the most part, I thought. Really, really played clean. Now, James Ludeman does not believe it was a very clean game. Mr. Alabama says, we were missing our best interior lineman. Best receiver takes a cheap shot and goes out with a concussion. Was that a cheap shot? I was at the game. I didn't see it. I just saw him walking off the field.
It would look more like a grazing shot. I think Earl Little got more of his teammate there from what I saw. But obviously, Ryan Williams did suffer a concussion. So
yeah. He said, but credit to Florida State for making plays and taking advantage of the interior defense that was very lackluster. He adds, Saban lost to 4 unranked teams his entire career with Bama. DeBoer has lost to 4 unranked teams since last season. Coaching wins. Mike Norvell is a good coach. By the way, to all those Alabama people that got on Twitter and ripped me 1,000 times for saying Mike Norvell was your number one choice, and I know he was. And now you see why, because you're stuck with Kalen DeBoer. Sorry, babe, fans. That's
just, and I was high on Alabama, so I don't want to walk any of that back after 1 week. But I heard a thing this weekend that apparently Kalen DeBoer has not had a game as Alabama's head coach where he has been the least penalized team in the football game. Which is hard to believe. And there were some things that happened in that game where I think everybody had to have been thinking, if Nick Saban was on that sideline, I mean, he would be going ballistic.
Yeah.
I mean, ballistic. And we talk all the time about, sideline sort of, what your demeanor is on the sideline. DeBoer's he's the arms crosser guy with the expressionless look on his face. And it's such a hard contrast from what Saban was. And I mean, Dan Orlovsky watched the entire film back. I heard him say this morning he counted 25 loafs for Alabama.
25 loafs?
He counted 25 loafs.
Wow.
And it looked like it. I mean, it looked like it. Like, they always say, like, some teams just want it more than others. Like, that was a case of that the other day.
Mm-hmm. That was wow. I did not. What else did Dan have to say? 25 loaves.
I mean, they're very concerned about Alabama today on the old ESPN network, and they got Paul in studio and everything. And it's
what I want to hear a little bit of him eat shit. What did he say? Of course, he's going to rip Alabama. He's not going to say anything nice about Florida State. It's all about Alabama sucks, right?
Florida State has been the footnote of the story. It's all about Kalen DeBoer and his scorching hot seat and all of that stuff. But you should take amusement in it. I mean, FSU has basically broken their brains today.
Yes.
And it's sweet, and at least it's something. After everything that's happened over the last 2 years, it feels good. I had people texting me like, oh, the FSU fan base is going to be insufferable on Twitter again now.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yes, they are.
We deserve it.
Yeah.
We took the slings and arrows last year, a lot of them. So yeah, we get to puff our chest out a little bit. That's kind of how it works. So sorry if you're a hater, you're a hater. Yeezy said, "How about FSU? Very impressive." He took the money line before the game started. You're very impressive for doing that. We'll get to South Florida here, Mike. More right rudder. What a big win for them as well. So we'll get to that here. We talked a little bit about that on Monday. We got Michael Rager. Says, JP, have you enjoyed the predictable narrative of, well, Bama sucked anyway, trying to cheapen our win? Of course. We knew that was coming, right? We knew that was coming. Yeah, I don't think Alabama's the Alabama of old. I mean, I said that last week when I saw them at the ReliaQuest Bowl. I was like, this doesn't even look like the old Alabama teams. Like they're not. They've lost
I felt like Nick Saban had this way around him where he was like Darth Vader. like coming in and like he just had that sort of, and I'm not a Star Wars guy, so I hope that like fits what I'm trying to do here. But he just sort of had that like aura to him. And without him there, it's just gone. Like the players are still really talented, but they definitely have lost something there. And I just don't, I mean, some people just aren't good fits for programs. Does DeBoer yet have shown anything to be a good fit for Alabama?
I just think it shows how great Nick Saban was. And I said that when he retired, I said, Alabama, get used to being a regular college football program again, because your days of dominating with that type of consistency are over. I don't care who you hire, whether you hire Mike Norvell or whoever. Saban is one of a kind. He was one of a kind. He was the perfect man for the time for him. He was stern enough and was at a place where they would let him coach the way he wants to coach. And that's another thing. You know, Kalen DeBoer, even if you wanted to coach the way Nick Saban coached, you can't get away with this is why Nick stepped back, because you can't coach these guys as hard as you once did because they have options now. And they, you know, before they couldn't leave Alabama and they would keep them from going anywhere in the SEC. And if you even sniffed the transfer portal, you were like, your stuff was taken out of your locker, taken out of your room, everything. You were cut off from everything. And players knew it. Players knew it. Is like, do not even sniff don't even talk about it. He ruled with an iron fist. It's so funny. I was talking with a guy who was at a party I was at Friday night. It was a lot of Alabama boosters there. And he said, I was just at a wedding where Saban was. And I was like, do you know him at all? He's like, I know him a little bit, but I said, well, what's he like as a dude? He said he's just like super hardcore and very private. He goes, yeah. And I said, yeah, I heard my friend's daughter was a swimmer at Alabama. And the first thing they tell the non-football players is, hey, if you see Saban in the complex, do not speak to him unless he speaks to you. Like, you do not address Coach Saban. And the guy goes, yeah, it was the same way at the wedding. I said, what? He goes, yeah, everybody who was going to the wedding, they were told in an email that if you see Coach Saban there and he speaks to you, you can speak to him, but don't speak to him unless he speaks to you. I'm like, okay, what? Even at weddings? All right, well, whatever. I know Bobby Bowden wasn't that way, but anyway. But my point is, the dude was a complete. You want to talk about dictators? He ran everything, and he ran it his way, and he busted their ass. And that's what it takes to be a perennial champion every year. You just have the best of the best. He had everything down. Mm-hmm. And once he left, that secret sauce is gone. And it doesn't mean Kalen DeBoer is a terrible coach. It just means he's not Nick Saban. And there's never going to be another Nick Saban, Alabama.
Yeah, you could probably say the problem is Kalen DeBoer might be the type of coach that wins. He just might be a 9-win coach at Alabama. And is anybody at Alabama okay with that? Is, I guess, the big question mark. Of course they're not. But to your point, college football has changed in the short amount of time that Nick Saban has been out of the sport, and everything he did from 2007 to 2022 when they really had it rolling. I'm not going to say it's not relevant to today's sport, but it was just a different landscape the way he built that thing, and it's just different. So I did want to ask you though, before we move off of FSU, do you adjust any of your expectations for this year? It's one game, it's early, but I started looking ahead of the schedule and I'm like, okay, East Texas A&M, Kent State, Virginia, all of a sudden, chance to be undefeated going to Miami in early October. What is your expectations now for the season?
Well, it totally changes. And that's because, we were all looking through this through the prism of 2-10. And that's not what we should be doing. That's not right. And I don't say that as a Florida State fan. I mean, just objectively speaking, Paul Feinbaum, this is not a 2-10 program. That was the anomaly. So your expectations should go back to what they normally are, which is, okay, we should be in the talk to win the ACC. I mean, I didn't see a Clemson team that looked that great against LSU. Cade Klubnik did not look like the number one draft pick to me. They didn't look like they had some juggernaut offense. And I'd say the same about Miami. We'll get to Miami. They look good, but not unbeatable. No, I could be completely wrong. But I think this is I said this was a 7-8 win team. I said 6 is the floor. 8's what I'm expecting. 9 would be awesome. I don't think 10 is attainable. Now I think 10 is attainable. Absolutely. I think 10 is attainable. And I think you have a shot of going to the ACC championship. I think you could beat Miami. Sure. Why can't you? This team, I mean, it's Alabama. That's the 8th ranked team in the nation. And I know preseason polls are worthless. I get it. But that roster that Alabama has it's a hell of a roster. There's a dozen pro players on that roster right now? Yeah.
I mean, there's at least 4 to 5 first-round picks. I mean,
right. I love this by Mario Christian. Bama will have a chance to rebound with their remaining schedule. Once they get out of the ACC, they'll be in better shape.
Ironically, do you know their next game on the schedule?
What is it?
Their next game is against Louisiana Monroe, and if you know your history, Nick Saban lost to Louisiana Monroe in his,
that's right.
I think his first year.
Yes, I think you're right. Oh my God!
Couldn't you imagine?
Got to hope. I mean, I want Alabama to play great the rest.
Oh,
of the
way. If you're an FSU fan, you want Alabama to be a 10-11 win team. The worst thing in the world is to have Alabama truly be like a 6 or 7 SEC win team. That'd be the worst thing.
No. Mary also says, in my opinion, Bama was the main reason in 2023 that FSU was shafted from the playoff. No, it was ESPN who wanted a SEC team and a newbie SEC team in there instead of FSU. And they made the call on that, in my opinion. John Sooms, Big Boy 594, says, looks like a big year for Florida football, USF, FSU, Florida, and the Bucs. Yeah, we'll get to the rest of the guys here in just a little bit. Cleaning up the FSU stuff. Feinbaum said Bama will have 8 tougher games. Disrespect from him. Par for the course. He forgets 3 natties and many ACC titles. Hall of Fame Knowles on a sideline. FSU has the money to compete for players and coaches. That's right. All that's true. 2-10 is the anomaly, not 13-0. That's just, and I'm not saying 13-0 is going to be the usual because it's not. But FSU should be a 10-win team every year. Every year. That should be the expectation. James says all these media outlets Get Up anoints players like Arch, and when he plays bad, they trash him. He has plenty of time to get better. Maybe throw some blame on Sark. Yeah, I mean, the preseason expectations are kind of, for all of us are. And that's why I didn't want to predict anything for Florida State because I had no idea. But if they'd have got blown out, it wouldn't have shocked me. And winning the game didn't shock me. It didn't shock me. I thought, listen, this is Florida State. And you recruit the right players. You have the facilities. You're going to be in the running for some really, really good transfer players. And they got 4 guys along the offensive line that were just outstanding. That offensive line, I thought, really dominated the game. Pettibone, the center, on out. And these are experienced guys that have done it before in college football. And let's give a shout out to Herb Hand, the offensive line coach, that clearly coached these guys up a hell of a lot better than the other group. Yeah. And Gus Malzahn and that was professional. That was professional coaching. These guys that have done it and have chops, and the guys that were there before, not so much. I
also can't believe we've gone 35 minutes, and I don't even know if we even mentioned Earl Little Jr.'s name. And
I did in the beginning.
You did? Yes.
I
must have missed it. But whose idea was it not to play that guy last year?
Its coaching staff was freaking moron.
I mean, holy hell!
Awful.
That dude,
Awful.
you talk about setting a tone?
Yeah.
Golly, I think Tony White said yesterday he was trying to run around to knock somebody's soul through their body. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what he did all night long.
And he could barely play last year.
Yeah. Scotty Fitz listening from New York City, having a bagel and coffee. Went to Oasis last night. How was the show, baby? Saw some of the videos. Really nice. That's a good weekend. An FSU win for you. And then fly to New York and do Oasis. Very nice.
Yeah, I got to figure out what Oasis is. I'm not really too familiar there.
You don't know what Oasis is? Oh,
I gotta be honest. I'm not.
Open it up on your Spotify, baby. You'll love it. You will love it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We got USF to get to. UF, Miami with a big win. Whatever you guys want to bring to the table. The Rays get a sweep. How about that? And we'll talk a little Bucs as well as the Bucs get ready for Atlanta in week 1. We are brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Get your free case evaluation by going to the website, email them, or call them and tell them JP sent you. Non-attorney spokesman, offices Tampa and St. Pete. And by OnSiteConstructionFL.com, a great contractor, an honest contractor, a very creative contractor. You will love to work with them. Look at all their 5-star reviews at OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Back in 3.
Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine & DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine & DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine & DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine & DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Genesis of Tampa. Go in and test drive the G80 or the GB80. Absolutely fabulous cars. And our good friend Michael Murphy, the owner at Genesis of Tampa, said he was going to pay your first payment of your lease if FSU won. So, but you had to take a test drive last week to get the offer. So I know my man Larry Sledge did, but I don't know who else did. So you thought he was joking. You might still be able to get the deal. I don't know. We'll have to talk to Michael about it, but he said if you went in last week and did a test drive and FSU won, he'd make your first payment at Genesis of Tampa. That's what they do. It should be Generous of Tampa. Generous Genesis of Tampa. Yeah, go check out their cars. Great place. 801 East Bears, right off of 275. Real easy to find, and they're phenomenal. The SUV, fantastic. And the prices are ridiculous. So good. For what you get, amazing.
Damn, I just thought of something.
Yes, sir?
I don't know if this is a stretch to say or not, but I just looked because Kalen DeBoer is on my screen, and I see 23-game win streak and season opener snap for Alabama. And I don't know why this popped in my head, JP, but would you say the moment that Florida State stopped feeling like Florida State went back to that first Alabama game, that season opener in 2017? Because that was like the turning point. Remember? It was. Yeah. That sort of set Florida State into a spiral. And wouldn't it be sort of poetic 8 years later in a season opener again? What if it sends the other program into a spiral? Could you imagine? While lifting the other one back up.
Yeah, I remember I was at that game at Mercedes-Benz Dome. I think it was the first game there. And right before the half, we were down on about the 10-yard line, 15-yard line. I think it was Francois was quarterbacking.
Yes.
He got hurt before he got hurt in that game. And he threw a dart over the middle, and they just tackled the receiver like 2 counts before. It was obvious pass interference in the end zone. And that would have, FSU could have taken the lead at half had they gotten that touchdown. And they didn't get it. They didn't score, and they got trounced, and Francois got hurt, and then it was just awful from that point on. So maybe this is the turning point. I mean, we all want to, is Norvell the guy? And I still think he is.
This is impressive. I mean, super
impressive.
Who could have seen, like he said it all off season, like, it feels like it's different. I feel like I got the right combination of players and coaches this year, but that stuff doesn't usually come together the first time they take the field together.
Not against a team like that.
Yeah. That doesn't happen. So that's why, at least for now, I think we can put all that stuff to rest. I think he's earned it.
Yeah. Although James says he will not look at the 13-0. It's like, just think how bad you have to be as a coach to go 2-10. I'll still never get over that.
Well, he's more of operating like a CEO this year.
Yeah. Yeah. He made the necessary changes that needed to be made. Absolutely. All right. So let's talk a little. You want to go USF? We talked USF on Friday, but it's worth repeating. And I think the further and further you get away from that game, the more you see how important a win that was as well. I mean, I put both of these wins just in terms of where the two programs are. That it's the big top 25, top 10 wins are markers, right? There are markers and moments when you could say a program either turned the corner or it went the other way, right? This was for both of these programs, I see them as markers. And I see it for Florida State, like we're back in the hunt. We're back. We're not 2-10. We're closer to 13-0 than we are 2-10. We're a perennial leader in the ACC, and they can go out and win games. And I think, in a 16 or 12 team playoff, why can't they get in? That's the way I feel about this team right now. And I know that's super aggressive, but I just think you got to stop looking at it from a 2-10 prism. Unfortunately, James won't do that. But for USF, I think it's equally as important. Because you've been getting better. You've been getting better. Third year for Golesh. So this is your culture is taking hold. Your recruiting is taking hold. Your message is getting through, hopefully. And that was the best game, top to bottom, I've seen them play. And I was glad that it wasn't necessarily the offense that led the way. It was the defense. The defense that was 113th, 118th last year was phenomenal against a really good Boise team that I think is going to challenge for that playoff spot like it did last year. I don't think this is a bad Boise team. I think it's a team that did not expect the kind of physicality that USF gave them on defense. And then offensively, Byron Brown is he's a handful. He's hard to tackle. Oh. And he is Cam Newton. And that's a factor. People can, you can know everything that they're doing and RPO's coming, but you're not going to have, USF's going to have the numbers on every play with that quarterback run, and you're going to need 3 or 4 to bring this guy down, especially in the open field. You can't. His best touchdown run was taken off the board for a crappy holding penalty. He should have had 3 touchdown runs, 2 of them over 40 yards. I mean, he is a freaking bull. I mean, I stood next to him as he was coming out. I got a quick video of it. I mean, he's every bit. I've stood next to Dante Culpepper on that field. He's every bit that big. He's every bit that big. And he can run and he can throw. And, man, USF's got a chance to do something. Listen, I don't know if they're going to beat Florida or Miami in the next couple of weeks, but you never know. You never know. The last 2 years, they were competitive with them, at least for a half, and Florida the whole game. And this is a much better USF team. A much better USF team.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tall task to go play those 2 teams back to back. But getting this win under your belt, I think to feel good about USF in a strange way, you were like, if you can go 1-2 over this 3-game stretch, you would feel good about it. And and to win, and again, it's all about the way you win. This wasn't a fluky win or anything like that. This was an ass kicking. This was 31-7. It wasn't really close. I thought Byron Brown, he started the game really slow, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. But he grew into the game. Like early on, I thought, man, the release looks a little long on him and stuff like that. And they weren't exactly, giving him the chance to run the football as much. But I think once they shifted after a couple drives and they decided, okay, we're going to see what Byron can do with his legs here. And we've known what he can do with his legs. But they gave him the chance in that game. And I think that was the X factor. In fact, I think they should run it even more with him, because he's just that difficult to tackle. And I mean, the best play he made, unfortunately, was the one that got called back because of the hold, where he just knifed right through like 5 or 6 guys to the end zone. So he's going to be a fun player to watch, but it's all about the defense. So many standouts on that side of the football, from Jalen Shuler, Deshaun Rucker. I mean, so many guys came to play, and Todd Orlando called a great game. Boise State clearly missing the presence of Ashton Genty just a little bit. I think we should probably go ahead and just give the Heisman over to him from last year. We can do that. Let's just switch it, because he was so important to that Boise team, as we saw. But again, similar to how everybody was like using this as an example to say, oh, Alabama might not be that good. I don't want to hear that about Boise, because I couldn't find an analyst anywhere that wasn't penciling Boise in as the team that makes the playoff out of the group of 5.
Yeah, because they have so many, their offensive line returning, their defensive line and edge rushers who led the league in sacks last year. And they put a lot of pressure on Byron, but he got out of a lot because he's just a superior athlete. That was, but I thought defensively, their physicality set the tone early on. They created 3 turnovers, 4 fourth downs. They converted defensively, and they were physical. They were just more physical than that older, bigger defense or offensive line of Boise, who thought they could just manhandle them, and they couldn't. And I could tell. I tell you what, that fourth quarter, Boise was done. They were done. There's late third and fourth quarter. You could just see the heat the humidity and the physicality that USF brought out, they were done.
I know. I saw the storyline going in where some people are like, "Oh, USF's wearing all black in August in Tampa. What are they doing?" Oh my goodness.
Remember, folks, the dark uniforms. The only reason they're hot is when the sun is shining, because it absorbs the energy. So black uniforms are not hotter at night than regular uniforms. They're not. The color thing just has to do with the sunshine. So once it got shady, it wasn't a disadvantage. So remember that from your science classes. It's about absorbing the heat. Yeah.
So we'll see what they do against Florida and Miami. That's going to be tough. But I think, to me, the real test that shows you if South Florida has really turned a corner, it's going to come after that. It's going to be games like, in conference, Charlotte, North Texas, FAU, Memphis. Can you take care of business in those football games and prove that you deserve to go play for an American championship at the end of the year?
That's what Mario said. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think USF has to be thinking that at this juncture, and I just feel good for them because I think we've talked about this a lot. USF gets lost in the shuffle a lot in the sort of hierarchy of Tampa Bay sports. It is what it is, for better or worse. The rule of USF for a lot of people is give us a reason to talk about you. And they gave everybody a reason to talk about them on Friday. They were the lead story just about everywhere in this market. And here we are, first hour of the show on Monday, and we're still talking about them because that has a chance to be a transformative win for their program.
God, can you imagine if they get one of these next two?
Oh,
now you're talking. If they get one of these next two, they're locked into the playoff if they win their conference.
Right.
Then you're just in to win the conference. Now, I think just with the Boise State win, if they win their conference and the Boise State win and they play well against Florida, Miami, don't get blown out, then I think it's going to be really hard to find another group of five that's better than that.
Yeah, Tulane's going to be the other team probably. Yeah. Tulane's going to be the team that they're going to be competing with. And they might meet each other in the American Championship.
Right, they would, correct, if they were the top two highest ranked. Ooh, now where do they play that? They play it at the number one. I think the number one seeds field.
I think so. Yeah.
Wow, that'd be nice. Does Tulane have any difficult non-conference games?
Oh, they just beat up on Northwestern, I guess, this weekend, 23-3. So very convincing win. They have to play Duke. Oh, they actually have a tough non-conference too. So they play Duke at home on Saturday, September 13th, a night game, and then the week after they go play Ole Miss.
Okay. Well, that used to be a great rivalry, Tulane Ole Miss back in the day. Jay Talley, my pledge class president, says, could be that FSU beat the stew out of Alabama because the Noles have a good team, not so much that Bama has a bad team. One big difference on the Noles squad is they have a good team leadership among players and coaches. Go Noles. Yeah, the leadership was so evident, and it was so not evident last year. All right. Any other James says Josh Pate says FSU and Tulane will fight for the group of five spot in the playoffs. Josh Pate, if you don't know, is one of the new big voices in college football from his podcast. If you haven't listened, it's a good listen. I listen often. John Hill, happy birthday to Hardy Nickerson, number 56. Yeah. He's another guy that started the culture change for the Buccaneers. So, all right. So huge wins for USF, program definers. You got to follow it up, obviously. You have to follow it up. And for USF, and, when Alex came on the show and I asked him, like everybody else, about the conference championship, and his answer was, listen, we're going to work the process, and if it ends up in a conference championship, so be it. But we're not going to make that the end-all, be-all. Whether if we don't, get there, it's going to be a failed season. And I get that. And that's, as a coach, that's what you should say, and that's what you should preach to your team, 100%. The public perception is it's your third year, you got talent, and now you've spoiled us. You've spoiled us with a dominating win over Boise State. Not a fluky win, but a dominating win, just like Florida State's. So expectations rise. That's the game. That's the game. And you know what? He welcomes it. He welcomes it. Mike Norvell welcomes it. This is where they want to be. Bring it on. Bring it on. and now it's off to Florida and Miami. And, they don't have to win both games, but they got to come out unscathed. And Lord, please,
and
put protection over Byron Brown, please.
Yeah, and we'll see. And we'll see, Florida got to play, Long Island in week 1. And I didn't even know Long Island had a football program.
I didn't either.
With all respect to them. That was a name your score game. And obviously they took advantage of that. So Florida basically had a preseason game. And now they're going to play a team that already had to play a tough game in week 1. So that should be an interesting matchup. We know that USF has played Florida tough over the last few times they've faced them. But Alex Golesh, he has that mentality where, he doesn't get the memo that USF's an American team or anything like that. He thinks of them as a big program, and he has the mentality for it. So, they're going to be up for that game. There's no doubt about it.
Well, he's got, kind of a Tennessee mentality where he OC'd. It's like, we're Tennessee, we're going to go beat Florida. Well, he's like, we're USF, we're going to go beat Florida. It doesn't, and that's the way he should think. And if you're, the way USF played, why would you think any differently? DJ Lagway's a really, really good player, and they've got their roster is much improved. But as much as I like what Napier did down the stretch last year, that team has also been prone to do some really stupid things, like not have 10 enough men on the field in critical situations, like just really, really dumb things. And you can't, especially in a game like this against a rival, you're going to get USF's best. You're going to get their best. And Byron Brown is a game changer. He just is. And so we'll see. That's going to be a very, very interesting game.
All right. You want to talk about Miami last night?
Let's hit the break, and then we'll come back and do Miami. Because we got Miami and Bucs to talk about, and we got an hour to talk about. I thought that was a very interesting game in many ways. So we'll get to it. We're brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Get that Italiano Insurance checkup and make sure you have your flood insurance, your business insurance, and make sure your home is fully insured. 40% of you don't have enough insurance. That's important too. So give them a call at 813-877-7799 and go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Back in 3.
The Golden Diamond Source is working every day to be your family jeweler. Right now, a $5,000 engagement ring with 0% interest can be yours for just $83. So don't let the holidays sneak up on you this year. Now is the time to get ahead with their in-store layaway. Trade in your old jewelry for cash. Gold has never been higher. The Golden Diamond Source is offering the highest ever trade-in values for your gold and diamond jewelry. Now is the time to get your holiday shopping started. So come in now, relax, shop, and save at the Golden Diamond Source. We love Julie and Steve Weintraub, great local philanthropists, and you can find them at 3800 Olmerton Road in Clearwater, where you'll always find the perfect gift, only at the Golden Diamond Source. Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. With this record heat in Tampa Bay, you better have your AC unit running at peak efficiency. Third Generation Plumbing installs the best American standard AC units. Our split systems offer the highest efficiency available while reducing energy bills and maximizing comfort. That's why Third Generation Plumbing trusts American Standard Air Conditioning, built to last, made to perform. Whether it's a new install or an emergency repair, our family-owned team brings 3 generations of trusted service to your home, now with the unmatched reliability of American Standard. Plumbing or cooling, we've got Tampa covered. Call Third Generation Plumbing today, 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. And we also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
There we go. Welcome back. Big college football weekend, a big pro weekend coming up. Cannot wait. We are brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing and American Standard Air Conditioning. They are a great combination to get you a new unit, a very efficient unit, the best in the market, the most reliable. That's American Standard Air Conditioning and Third Generation Plumbing to install it for you. Get a new unit, they will give you a full year of a free maintenance program. So go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. That's thirdgenerationplumbing.com, and tell them JP sent you for the American Standard Third Generation Plumbing get together. They do a great job over there. All right, want to talk a little Miami?
Let's do it.
First of all, how about that freaking catch by was it CJ Daniels?
Yes, the LSU transfer. One of the damnedest catches I have ever seen.
Like in live speed, I was like, wait, did the ball hit the ground? Wait, what happened there? Like that ball was going right to the safety. Terrible throw. Carson Beckman just off his back foot in the red zone, just throws one up for grabs in the end zone. And Daniels goes up between 2 players with one hand and just sticks it with one hand all the way through. It must have been 4 or 5 feet in the air. That's one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. You're about to get hit. You go up with one hand, snag it, then come down and survive the ground from that height. That was insane. And it totally changed the game. Totally changed.
I'm so glad there was nothing there in review to call into question. Because when they were reviewing it, I was like, I really hope they're reviewing it just so they could they just were like, oh, wow, we want to see that one again. I hope they weren't looking for anything, because there were some questionable, controversial no catch calls throughout some of the big games this weekend. And I was like, don't you dare touch that one. That one was too good not to overturn.
Yeah, because it kind of moved when he hit the ground, but obviously it's going to move because you just came down from 5 feet in the air and slammed your body down, but it never touched the ground. So he survived the ground, and man, what a play! Because if that's intercepted at the goal line, so it could be a 14-point swing. That's the game right there. And Micah Toney too, the first touchdown that Beck kind of underthrew, and he adjusts to the ball. Those Miami receivers were like the days of yore, and they'll make anybody look good, including Carson Beck, who I didn't think was that good. I thought he was sloppy. I thought they bailed him out in a bunch of situations. I thought he was okay. 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't think he threw a pick, did he?
No.
Should have thrown 2 or 3, but did not get any picked.
Yeah, I was more. This game to me was, with all respect to Miami, I think they played well, but I don't understand what the game plan was for Mike Denbrock and Notre Dame's offense in this football game. They picked C.J. Carr, the freshman, to be the quarterback over the other kid, and a lot of it had to do with because his downfield passing threat. Early on, it's like the training wheels were on, and they refused to let him throw past the line of scrimmage. So that was bizarre. They waited too long to get him into the game, and then eventually he started making some good plays, but. The big thing that made no sense to me is the usage of Jeremiah Love. And I mean, this is the best for those who don't keep up with the sport as much. This is the best running back in college football right here. I mean, this is a guy who's probably going to be a first-round pick in the NFL draft next year. And at the half, I think he had 4 carries. And he finished the game with 10 carries. I mean, just refusing to get your best player involved in a game like that was a very puzzling decision by Mike Denbrock. And to me, it was just a case of Notre Dame. They waited too late to try to open things up. I think Miami was lucky to escape, to be honest with you, because I thought Notre Dame grew into that game. They just waited too long.
Yeah, and to your point, that one screen pass that Bain picked off, it's like, how much further up can Miami's defenders be? You know, you keep throwing the ball within 2-3 yards of the line of scrimmage. It's just too crowded. So, yeah, to your point, once they decided to throw the ball, it opened it up for everything else. So I would agree. It was a little different. I thought defensively their pass rush was maybe the difference in the game. CJ Carr held the ball a little bit, but he was under duress. That was a legitimate University of Miami. That they're going to win a lot of football games with that front four. That pass rush was legit. Bain and the rest of those boys were getting after it, and that's typically a very good Notre Dame offensive line. So I thought they were impressive. I thought Miami was, but here's the thing: the reason they were really good last year was because of Cam Ward.
Yeah,
Carson Beck is no Cam Ward.
You're hoping that he does kind of what he does yesterday, and I know that you said he probably should have thrown multiple picks in the game, but he didn't. I think that's the thing is they just need him to be a facilitator back there and just get the ball into the hands of these really skilled receivers. And their defense was so bad last year; it was so bad. And at least one game in, we saw a vast improvement in that from that point. And also, I give Miami credit. They had it's a good crowd there last night. There was a lot of energy in that building.
It's Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame. That's the last time that place will be filled.
Yeah, it was a big game. But, in general, it was cool to see, Michael Irvin on the side. Michael Irvin a little too involved, I think. I mean, he was basically on the field, though, throughout stretches of that game.
That's what Michael does.
Yeah, he had Ray Lewis on that sideline. At Florida State, you had Peter Warwick was going crazy and Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
I mean, love seeing the former players for these two programs out and about for a big football game.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see Mike, and he's done this well, but to bring back the legends and to remind these kids that there's you got a legacy to uphold. You just can't go out there and quit like many of them did last year. So I like when teams do that.
How about also? Because this was Saturday, one of the bigger storylines going in was obviously the last show of Lee Corso on game day, which I think they nailed everything that they did there. Great job by ESPN.
Except the location.
Throughout this entire time. Yeah, sure. But how about Lee Corso going out on a high note, nailing all his picks? Picked Ohio State. He picked LSU, Miami, Florida State, and Tennessee. I don't know if Lee actually decided to take that to his local sports betting website, but would have made a lot of money on that one.
Yeah, especially the Florida State pick. Because that would have been ESPN's worst nightmare, is through College Game Day in Tallahassee, have Lee Corso pull on the full headdress, the full Seminole headdress, his final pick, and then them go out and beat a vaunted SEC team like Alabama. That would have been ESPN's worst nightmare, which is why they decided not to bring the Sunshine Scooter home to Florida State, where his legend began, right? Instead, we go up to Ohio State, where he made his first pick. Come on. It's not even an ESPN ABC game. They went out of their way to keep Corso from getting his just due at the cradle of his college football existence. And you guys suck for that, ESPN. I'm looking right at you. Looking right at you.
There was There was a lot of storylines out of that football game too on Saturday. And
Which one?
The Ohio State-Texas game. I mean, that was the game everybody was looking forward to. And
boring.
It was, I kind of expected it. Maybe not 14-7. I think I was expecting something like 2017, Figured that both those defenses were gonna bow up. But I don't know. Everybody's like talking about Arch Manning and they're focusing on his lack of effectiveness, I guess, throughout most of that football game. And I mean, this is what happens when media sometimes they find their guy.
Yep.
They crown him preseason Heisman favorite when he had nothing on film that suggested that he was worth this hype yet. I'm saying the word yet because I do think he's an insanely talented quarterback and he'll probably figure it out. But he was going on the road in a hostile environment in his first career start like this on the road against the defending national champions, Matt Patricia, who's an NFL defensive coordinator who was dialed in more so than he was in the NFL, actually, because he's going up against quarterbacks now who just can't process things as quickly as NFL quarterbacks can. So it was feasting hour for Matt Patricia for 4 hours there on that game on Saturday. But everybody's like all worried about Arch Manning. I think he's going to be fine. I think Texas is going to be fine. These were two of the best teams in the nation. They might end up being the two best teams in the nation. They might meet again later in the season. Chances are they probably will. Somebody had to lose. It's just the way it goes. I don't think everybody has to put this all on Arch Manning now after you spent all offseason crowning him.
Well, yeah, and shouldn't they take a look at themselves? Arch isn't the one out there telling everybody how great he is. It's the media.
Right.
And you were the people that were wrong. I kind of said it. It's like if Arch was that good, wouldn't he have started some over Quinn Ewers? It's not like Quinn Ewers
especially at the level Quinn was playing at.
Exactly. People, do you think Sark's that dumb that he's not going to play the best guy? Maybe just because his name is Manning and he's a good athlete doesn't necessarily translate into being a great quarterback. It's a really hard thing to do. And he's clearly not ready for that just yet. He's got a lot of great skills and a lot of poise. I think he's going to be good. But let's keep in mind, what is he, a redshirt sophomore now? That's just his fifth start?
The one thing I will say for Arch Manning that kind of surprised me, and again, we didn't really have much tape to go off of. He's hardly played any football.
Right.
But so this was the first time we really got a chance to sit down and watch him. And there are some things that are surprising for a guy who has come from the family that he came from and the quarterbacks that he has had access to. I was a little stunned to see his mechanics be so off. How many times it's like the footwork was just a mess in that football game. The way he was throwing, it's like he was throwing like a shortstop in some of these passes and just these sidearm bullets that just weren't even close. It was a little perplexing to see that from a kid who came from this family. So there's a lot of things to clean up there, and clearly he's not a polished product. And, but when you played for Texas and you have that last name, I guess that's just sort of what comes with it.
Hey, a couple things we have to address. First of all, and I wanted to get some further news on this before we mentioned it, but Ethan Pritchard, who is a Florida State linebacker, was shot Sunday night in Havana, Florida, not Havana, Cuba. I saw a lot of people online going, "What? How the hell did he get to Cuba?" Havana is about 20 minutes away from Tallahassee. Very small, rural town, and he was at some apartment complex and got caught up in some type of shooting. And there's not a whole lot of reporting on this yet, except that he is in stable but critical condition. So, it takes me back to the Pablo Lopez story. This is like 1986, I believe it was. I was I don't know if it's an intern or my first year working there. I called in the middle of the night that the Florida State football player had been shot and killed. So right after a big win, and that was the same thing. I think they had just beaten Miami. Horrible, horrible story. So hopefully he's going to be okay. He's been critical and stable condition. I did see some reports that said he was shot near the head or in the head. But we don't know all the details. So, but right now the latest from Florida State is he's in critical but in stable condition in the hospital. So prayers to him and his family. We've had two people in here, Tim Witherspoon, you're the next, to say that I heard that Dungy died. Any news on that? I can't find anything.
I don't know.
Have you seen anything?
I have not seen anything. I have no idea where this came from. So yeah.
I'm going to text some people in the break that would know. That is a stunner. So I mean, yeah, I'll text some people, see if what we can find out, but that would not be good, obviously. So all right, we'll figure that out and find out what we can on that. Any other thoughts on Miami and Notre Dame in this one? By the way, they have I was looking at their schedule. They got Bethune next week. Then South Florida comes calling. Tickets as low as $16 for that one. You can get a Bethune-Cookman Miami ticket for $9. Yep. Then they got Florida at home. Tickets as low as $198 for that one. Then they're at FSU. Then they've got Louisville at home, Stanford at home, then SMU, number 16 SMU. Then they got Syracuse at home, NC State at home. By the way, all their home games except for the Florida one, you can get tickets for $20. Then at Virginia Tech and at Pittsburgh for the last two games. Pittsburgh could be a tough one. At Pittsburgh, November 29th, and at Virginia Tech, November 22. Those are two. I don't think Virginia Tech's very good this year, though. Typically, Blacksburg a tough place to play, but I don't think.
Did you see that yesterday? Virginia Tech versus South Carolina, and Frank Beamer is in the building, and he's on the South Carolina sideline. Wearing South Carolina gear. They gave him the game. Lenore Sellers gave him the game ball and everything, and I'm like, man, that's got to be awkward. I mean, he's supporting his son, obviously, but man, I wonder how Virginia Tech fans feel about that one.
That's weird. That's weird. Wow. Man, I did not see that. Why would you do that? And I know you want to support your son, but do you have to be that?
It was a lot.
Public about it?
Yeah. I mean, Lenore Sellers literally going up to him and giving him the game ball after was like, I don't know.
Just trolling Virginia Tech. That's not even like celebrating yourself. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. I will say that's speaking of that game, and I think the Tennessee-Syracuse, I know the answer is money. I'm sure that's always the answer, but I'm not a fan of this. Why is Tennessee and Syracuse playing a neutral site game in Atlanta? And why is South Carolina and Virginia Tech playing a neutral site game in Atlanta on the first weekend of college football? Like, what are we doing here?
Because Arthur's got to pay for that Mercedes-Benz dome somehow.
I cannot stand that stadium. I hate watching games on that because the lighting,
the shadows. Yeah,
it's the lighting. Whatever lighting they have in that stadium, it just like feels like I'm watching them play in I mean, it doesn't look good on TV. I'll put it that way. And I hate neutral site games. I love the fact that Ohio State, Texas, nobody had some great idea in their minds to go put that neutral site. That game was somewhat watchable because it was on campus.
Yeah, I agree. I want all of those to be
same thing
campus.
With LSU, Clemson. It had the whole storyline of Death Valley, Death Valley versus Death Valley, and can Clemson be louder? And I knew that. By the way, we didn't talk about that game. I figured that game was going to be a better watch than Ohio State, Texas, just because of the quarterback play, and it ended up being that the quarterbacks were not the story of that football game. That was another defensive struggle. A lot of defensive struggles in these big games this weekend, which it's week one.
Yeah, and some other games. Illinois, 12th ranked Illinois, by the way. They win 52-3. A lot of people talking about Illinois over Western Illinois, the Leathernecks. They beat them 52-3. But Altmaier was 17 of 21, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, it's a nothing game, but evidently Illinois got the They got
Got a
the
lot of
attention
buzz.
of a lot of people, a lot of buzz on Illinois. You mentioned Tennessee. That was a nice win for them, 45-26. I think Syracuse is going to be pretty good. Penn State, 46-11 over Nevada. Sure we learned anything there. Georgia, 45-7 over Marshall. Iowa State, 55-7, coming off their win in Dublin. And
No
Rocco
hangover
had a
there.
big game. No, Rocco
No
had a
hangover
big
there
game.
compared to Kansas State, who had to win it in the last minute against North Dakota.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. The big-
38-35. Yep.
Goodness gracious. Some of the Big 12. Ugh.
Texas A&M, 42-24 over UTSA, who is an American contender. And the LSU Clemson game, 17-10. Yeah, I thought I was really disappointed in Clemson and Cade Klubnik in particular. They did not look like the juggernaut with the great receivers that I had thought that they were going to be. I mean, LSU's a good football team. I get it, but I didn't see 10 points from Clemson with all the hype over Cade Klubnik.
20 carries for 31 yards for Clemson in that football game.
That's crazy.
Boy. I mean, Clemson, we've figured this out. Clemson's Achilles heel is playing SEC competition.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they have to play an SEC football team, it's like they just can't get out of their own way. Like I think I figured this out. Clemson is capable of beating anybody except for SEC football teams. It's really bizarre because I thought top to bottom they had the best roster in college football coming in, and LSU has clearly changed a lot of what they're doing defensively. And Brian Kelly, if anybody needed a win in the worst way this weekend, it was Brian Kelly. There's just no doubt about that. And he established himself that LSU is probably going to be a top 5 ranked team now when the AP poll comes out later today. And yeah, big win for them.
So Klubnik was 19 of 38 for just 230 yards and 1 interception, no touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lot of tunnel screens right there and not very effective tunnel screens. I mean, there's just nothing to their offense, which is interesting. And if they can't run the football, on LSU. How are they going to run the football on Florida State? The defense that I just saw. I mean, if Alabama couldn't run on Florida State,
that's a big problem for them. I mean,
yeah,
I think they had. I mean, their starting running back, I think, had 5 carries for 16 yards.
Adam Randall.
Just nothing going. And everybody talked about that receiving core, couldn't get them involved in the game. I mean, defensively, they were fine. I mean, again, it was a defensive struggle type of game. But, yeah, I was a little surprised by that. I thought you were going to get a little bit better. I mean, Clemson had that game at home. You got to take advantage of those games. If you told them, like, hey, we're going to allow 17 points to LSU at home, they probably think they won that football game.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, you don't want to take too much out of week 1, but you got to take more out of it than what you knew before. Because, like, in pro football, you can expect from one year to the next, you know what you got coming back, okay? Like, the Bucs have a good offense, right? And they have most everybody back, right? Everybody back. We can predict that they're going to be, a top 5 offense, right? No idea what Florida State was going to be. Nothing. No idea. And anybody you said they knew was lying. No idea. So at least now you get some idea what this team is. And I'm going to judge this team completely independently of any 2-10. It's a totally new team. It's a totally new offense. Like every player is new. And the coach is new. And the offensive line coach, the schemes, everything is new. So it has nothing to do with 2-10. And defensively, that looked nothing like the defense from there's probably 70% new players anyway. New coaching staff, new scheme, new everything. So, I mean, you had no idea what you were getting, and what you saw was really, really good. And I'd say, for USF, 34-7, that's not just like, the squeaking by. That's a domination of a really good Boise State team. Mm-hmm. So there's, and they did it defensively, which you never expected. So now, and they're going to score points. So, both of these teams to me my opinions of them completely change. At least you have something to go on now. And for Miami, they're a good team. They're really good defensively. They're better defensively than they were last year. and they've got some weapons on offense. So I think, yeah, they're absolutely in the hunt, worth a top 10. But I also feel like they'll find a way to lose games that they shouldn't because of their coaching staff. So that's always going to be there too for Miami. That's kind of my takeaway from the first week. Ohio State is really good. I mean, they're going to be there. I don't take anything less. I think Texas is still going to be a really, really good football team. I mean, their defense obviously showed you that. All in all, incredible week one, 4 upsets, top 10 teams. I think you're going to probably see maybe 2 or 3 3-loss teams in the playoffs this year. You think that's fair, Nick?
Oh, yeah. I think that's the intriguing thing about this season is it doesn't feel like there is a truly dominant team. I think the talent has spread enough across where I feel like there are 12 to 15 teams who are maybe capable of winning a national championship if everything falls their way. I truly believe that. I think week one showed that these teams are all really close. Like you didn't really see, of all the top teams that played each other, yes, the Alabama-Florida State game was more lopsided probably, but all the other games featuring top teams, whether it's Notre Dame, Miami, LSU, Clemson, Ohio State, and Texas, those games were all super close. And it could have been 1 or 2 plays that go a little differently and the outcome swings. So I think that shows you just the strength that we have of certain teams this season in college football. So that's what makes it intriguing. And, also, I mean, the schedules on some of these teams too make it very intriguing. Like I know like Florida has been the one team we haven't talked about a lot today because they played Long Island, but we're going to be talking about Florida a lot coming up soon because I think we're going to be focusing in on that USF game. But don't forget, after that, Florida goes on a run where they play LSU, Miami, Texas, and Texas A&M. Like we're going to figure out very quickly if Billy Napier has this thing rolling in the right direction or not, So buckle up. It's only one weekend, and it was great.
It was amazing.
And the best part of it, it's going to be like euphoric this weekend because we're going to get more great college football on Saturday, and then the NFL is going to make its arrival on Sunday. Wow. I mean, this is what we made it to. We made it. We sat through 8 months. The Rays put us to sleep for a lot of that, and now we're back.
All right, we're going to get to your great comments and questions here. Whatever you got, put them in there, and we'll get to them. And we're going to talk some Buccaneers, Falcons next as we get set for week one of what's going to be an incredible week in the NFL as well. And we'll get your take on the Micah Parsons trade as well, Nick. We haven't heard that yet. So got that coming up for you. We're brought to you by the great folks at Kingmakers of Tampa, kingmakerstampa.com. That's where the new studio is, the JP Peterson Show. And you can become a member at Kingmakers. It is a very unique space. By day, it's a great place to work, a mobile office, if you will. They've got private offices there. They got a stylish conference room you can use there. They have a great studio that we have right there. You can use our studio, the podcast studio. You become a member to do some work in there as well. And by night, it's a great place to hang out, like a sports bar atmosphere. We have a golf simulator there as well. So come check it out, kingmakerstampa.com. Become a member today. Back in 3.
JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine, and DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine, and DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solution. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine, and DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStreams.
All right, well, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Here as we roll on this Monday after week one of the college football season. Some incredible happenings there that we've talked about. You can bring up your thoughts, comments. You can do it on YouTube, on our X channel as well, at the JP Peterson Show, and on Facebook at JP Peterson or WATB Sports. You can do it there as well. And big thanks to our friends at Riveters, always the place to watch football this season. We got a Monday nighter tonight too. What, TCU and Bill Belichick makes his coaching debut.
You see the lineup of celebrities who are going to be at that game tonight?
No, I did not.
Listen to this: Michael Jordan, Mia Hamm, Lawrence Taylor, Julius Peppers, Eric Church, Chase Rice. And drum roll, please. And drum roll, please.
You already said Michael Jordan.
Mr. Blake
Who could
Snell.
be bigger than Michael Jordan? What the hell does Blake Snell have to do with it?
I have no idea. It's like the polar bear in Texas meme. Like, I don't know what Blake Snell is doing at that game.
Does he have North Carolina connections?
He's from Washington State, no?
I thought.
Yeah, I don't know what Blake Snell's doing there, but he's going to be there, and he was listed with all those Hall of Famers.
All right, somebody tell me why Blake Snell is there, please. Please do. That's pretty cool. They're bringing back out the old. Now, if any of them can play, that probably would be better. But
did Julius Peppers still suit up? I don't know. They could use him.
Where are you? I don't know what TCU has this year. I haven't really checked.
I'm very high on TCU as a contender in the Big 12. They got the best returning quarterbacks in college football in Josh Hoover this year.
Well, then I already bet them to beat North Carolina because I think Belichick's going to be a complete flop in college football. I still believe that.
I don't know if he's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be a flop. And I feel like the only reason why I'm saying that is because everybody's predicting him to be a flop, and somehow I feel like Bill's going to figure something out here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they could settle into being like an 8-win team or something like that in the ACC, granted, I don't know how many more years he's going to do this. So time is not on his side is the issue. And North Carolina is not starting from a great spot with him.
Let me see their schedules. Most people say, their schedule's easy. So they got TCU tonight at North Carolina. Then they got Charlotte at home. Then they have the Richmond Spiders at home. Then they got to go to UCF. That's cake. Then they got Clemson coming there. Then they got to go to Cal.
Ooh, Cal had a big win this week too.
Who they beat?
They beat the crap out of Oregon State the other night.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
And they got Virginia at home. Then they got to go to Syracuse.
No, I don't see any let-up games there.
Stanford at home.
Oh, there it is.
At Wake Forest, dub.
There it is.
Duke at North Carolina, and then they got to go to North Carolina State. So I see 1 win, maybe 2. Richmond's no pushover.
I feel like I hear 5 right now coming to mind.
Yeah, it looks like about a 5 win. So that's a huge fail if you're Bill Belichick to win 5 games. You don't get to a bowl game. You hire Bill Belichick. What do they pay him? Like $20 million a year?
Not cheap.
Ridiculous amount. And he doesn't take you to a bowl game. That's an epic fail. That's an epic fail. I don't see it. I could be wrong. I just don't get it. I don't get it. We'll see tonight how they play. I'm betting on. What's the line on the game tonight?
Let me see here. I have to think TCU's favored for sure.
Yeah.
All right, TCU. Well, TCU's only a 3.5 point favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going TCU for tonight. All right. So the Bucs get ready to play Atlanta this weekend. What a huge game this is to start the season. Oh. So a couple interesting notes from our good friend Greg Auman. He has all the jersey swaps. So Ibuka goes from 9 to 2. By the way, he also reported that the Bucs will, if you bought a 9 jersey with Ibuka's name on it, you can bring it in to the team store if you bought it there, and they'll change it out for a 2 if it's officially licensed. They're encouraging you to start at the original point of purchase, but Team Store and Fanatics can also help with the swap if that doesn't work, he wrote. So that's cool, right? Well done, Bucs, for doing that. Jalen McMillan goes from
Kyle Trask gets nutted. His number is none.
Yeah. Jalen McMillan goes from 15 to 11. Tez Johnson goes from 83 to 15. His college number. Teddy Bridgewater goes from 16 to 10. Josh Williams goes from 37 to 18. Bradley Dixon is not wearing that ridiculous 92.
I love the 92.
He's now punting in 9, taking Ibuka's number. And then Connor Bazelak on the practice squad goes from 8 to 16. So for those jersey number freaks and jersey freaks, there you go. Thank you, Greg Auman, for that. But all right, so Bucs and Falcons coming up this week. I have not seen where the Falcons have picked up that extra offensive tackle. I thought they were going out into the tackle market, but I don't think, unless I missed it. Did they pick up somebody, or are they going to start with that third string tackle on the right side?
I'm looking up that now because I don't know if that got buried in the Micah stuff from last week. It looks like here it is. Elijah Wilkinson is going to start, an undrafted free agent who has 45 starts in his career. Okay. I haven't really heard of him.
NFL starts?
That's what it says. I haven't really heard of him. Elijah Wilkinson, though, is his name.
No, I've not. Well, so listen, the Bucs start a blind side tackle in Charlie Heck against, I'm guessing, James Pierce Jr. Or whatever Atlanta's
Jalen Walker.
They're Jalen Walker, maybe. Yeah. I don't know which side they're lining up on. But obviously that's going to be kind of a big storyline between these two teams, the backup tackles, and who can protect their quarterback the best. And Michael Penix goes into this game, as far as I know, without any reps in the preseason. Same with Baker Mayfield, but obviously Baker has a lot more starts. So evidently they're very confident in what they're seeing in Michael Penix in practice with his hookup with Drake London. Obviously they've got one of the best running backs, Bijan Robinson. They've got a tight end in Pitts that we're still trying to figure out. But
just leave it right there. They have a tight end.
Yeah. So look, I think this is going to be a fascinating week 1 game, and it's going to be a packed house, which is rare for a Falcons game. The energy is going to be ridiculous. But if you're the Bucs, if you're an elite team like the Bucs believe that they are, you got to get after Penix, make him feel uncomfortable, and that's where this game's got to be won. I think the Bucs offense is going to score points. I don't have any. I think they score at least 28 points, if not over 30. And that's just, will the Bucs defense show up? Will this be the new fangled Bucs defense that brings heat off the corner with Hassan Reddick and Yaya Diaby and the inside pass rush, a more aggressive secondary? Is that what we're going to see? That, to me, that's got to be the difference in the game. Because the Bucs will score their points, but it's that, can they shut down the Falcons?
The Bucs need to. This is week 1 and everything, but I think the Bucs really need to win this game for a lot of reasons. And I think everybody's talking about. Like, I'm so sick of hearing people talk about the Falcons this offseason. I'm sick of it. I know. I think you worked with Harry Douglas, right?
I did. Yes. Love Harry
now.
Yes.
Well, Harry's been hyping up these Falcons a lot, saying they're going to have a top 3 defense top 3 offense in the NFL and everything. And people are saying that, and I'm like, man, I'm not going to forget that the Bucs had a top 3 offense in the NFL last year, and I feel like that's just not being discussed enough. The Bucs lost both games to the Falcons last year, and they should be pissed off about that. Like, I so badly want the Bucs to go out there and smash this Atlanta team and remind everybody that the NFC South is theirs until further notice. I am damn tired of hearing about how every year is going to be the Falcons' year. Like, we're just tired of the Bucs doing their thing or something. So the Bucs can shut everybody up this week, and I hope they do that. I think Caleb McGrary being out, I think, is a huge deal because the Falcons are going to be, I think, a run-first football team with Bijan Robinson. And don't forget Tyler Algier as well, who's probably maybe the best backup running back in the league. He's going to get don't be surprised if he gets some carries that are close in the amount to Bijan Robinson in this football game. But McGrary, in addition to being the blindside protector to Michael Penix Jr., which he's one of 2 right tackles in the football who's tasked with being that, he is what basically their running game goes through. And he's a big part of their success in that department. And he's not on the field. And now this Wilkinson comes in. I looked him up. He does have the 40 starts. He's a 30-year-old journeyman tackle. I mean, somebody, Hassan Reddick, Yaya Diaby, Mr. Braswell, Nelson, get after these dudes. I mean, it's all going to come down to the Bucs defense, and we don't need to see what we saw in both the games the Bucs played last year against Kirk Cousins. They can't let Michael Penix do that to them if they expect to win that football game.
Hell to the no. Hell to the no. By the way, I texted Derek Brooks in the break, and he said no, he hadn't heard nothing about Tony Dungy dying. So if anyone would know, it's him. So whatever rumors are out there about Tony Dungy passing away, according to Derek Brooks, who would know, no, he's heard nothing about that. But he also said, fun times, great win about the FSU game. I was hanging out after the game where we did our show from Bowden's on Friday. which is right down there in College Town across from Madison Social and all those. And a bunch of my buddies that I was hanging out with, I was supposed to go meet, and I was popping around. Went over to see Brian Ford, our good friend from the Buccaneers, COO. And he was there with his son, and they have a place right next to the stadium. So we had a few cocktails with them. Thank you, Brian. That was super fun. Got the day going. We got down there about 10 o'clock for the 3 o'clock game. So we were up early and went from pop to that. From that tailgate party, we went over to what was the second side? We went over to the intramural fields. I mean, food everywhere. Man. Don't you love the tailgate parties where we got the chicken coming off and the Hawaiian buns with the honey mustard and the barbecue? Oh, these little chicken sliders. And then he pulled off the prime rib burgers, which is in the little mini Hawaiian buns. I mean, so good. And all the accoutrement, the charcuterie out there, the smells, the wafting. Oh, absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, so
did you run into Bert Kreischer at all?
No,
he was shirtless at the bars.
So I go over to my buddies when I was supposed to be like a half hour before, and we were a little delayed. He's like, dude, you just missed Bert Kreischer. He was sitting right here, and they had this whole private area. Kreischer and his buddy were sitting there for like a half an hour taking pictures with everybody, and I got there like 5 minutes late.
Oh. Y'all could have both taken your shirts off, and
I know it was disgusting.
Danced on bars. But he did do the pregame thing before the game too on the field. I saw they showed that on TV.
Yeah, that was awesome. So I guess he's our number one fan now. I'll take that.
Could be worse.
Could be Richard Simmons. Thank God we got rid of that.
Could be Luther. What's the Miami guy? Luther.
Luke Skywalker. Luther Campbell.
Luther Campbell. There you go.
Yeah. Could be worse. Bert does a great job. We love Bert. And I guess he was bartending, and he was having a good old time. And so after the game, go back to Bowden's, where my friend Dave Roberts, who played for Bowden in 86 to 90, Billy Reagans, you'll remember that name. Saw Billy Reagans, a bunch of former players coming through, and they had a band there. So we're watching the LSU Clemson game right in the center there. The band is playing. Everybody, I mean, that was a night. That was a night. Those 3:30 games are great for that. You get a nice pregame tailgate, then you get the game, and then you got time for the post game as well. So that was just could not have been a better day. A little bit of rain. We got spit on a little bit, but for the most part, it was cool all day long. Cloud cover, way better than the usual 98-degree roaster that you'll have. So I'll take a little bit of rain in the overcast. That was fine. But had like total head shout out to FSU students for not getting out of the rain. I think I saw Danny Sledge in here. Intern Danny said was there, and yet he said nobody left. Good job, students. Love that. You stay there and take it, because that's what you're supposed to do as a student. No ponchos for you. You just get wet. I didn't watch much of game day because I was at the tailgate. How was it with Lee? Mario asked who's going to replace him. I guess Pat McAfee replaces him as Mr. Personality, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be Pat. I kind of was going back and forth between game day and Big Noon, which I don't typically do, but I was curious to see Dave Portnoy and his presence on Big Noon for this one. And I gotta say, it kind of added a little bit to Big Noon, at least having him there, because he's a personality. Like, whether you love him, you hate him, or you're just, I don't think anybody's indifferent to Dave Portnoy. I think it's either love or hate when it comes to him.
Yeah.
But I think you sort of need those guys on something like that, kind of how Pat is. He's no Pat. Let me just put that out there right now. But I thought Game Day did a really good job. They had Chris Fowler up there. I love Fowler. I actually preferred Game Day when Fowler was doing it.
Yeah.
More so than Reese.
Yeah. Reese is solid, but
Reese is solid, but
OG.
Fowler reminds you of at least when I was a kid, he was always the guy there. So I think they did a really good job with it. Lee, yes, I think it was time. I think you could tell, like, it's just hard for him. It just is. I mean, it's sad to see him. It's sad to see him sometimes because, you have this image of what he was before, and, he's 89 years old. The fact that he's done it this long is crazy, but I think everything was good. And then, when there was no doubt he was going to put on the Ohio State Buckeye. There was no doubt in my mind.
He was the only one to pick FSU.
He was the only one to pick FSU. The only one. He had to, though.
Turds.
He had to. He even said that. He's like, I can't pick against my school.
Plus, he knew he was going to win. B is in this morning. Jerk says, JP, how many basket weaving classes did you take to graduate from FSU? None. But I did have I took a couple of years of guitar. That was solid. That was a solid course. Probably got more out of that than most of the courses I got out of, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. So guitar was good. Nonverbal communication was another one, which I went on to teach that class as a student instructor. You put that one together, nonverbal communication, with the class that I had. I'll just leave it at that. Let your mind run free. Michael LaRue says Castellanos backed it up. FSU was unconquered against Alabama at home. Build him a I said what I said statue. I don't even think we choose just yet, but he backed it up, baby. He backed it up. I gave him shit for talking, but he backed it up. So good for him. Good for him. But he played great. I was really, really impressed. Mario says Kansas City's not a true neutral site for Nebraska and Cincinnati, as that was a total Nebraska home game away. Hey, Cincinnati gave up the home game for that, so that's on them. I guess to make more money.
Who would have ever thought, by the way, Taylor Swift taking in is that maybe her first college football game, and it happened to be Cincinnati and Nebraska playing in a classic, what looked like a Big Ten classic game. Not much excitement going on there.
She was extremely bored. I think she probably was like, why are you and Travis in the suite? Aren't you supposed to be playing? Isn't this your home field? Don't you guys play in these games? No, honey, this is college football. Oh, so that's different from pro? Yeah. There's we got a couple different divisions. Right.
I feel like so much.
They're not very good.
Yeah, no, they're not. I feel like so much stuff has happened over the last week that doesn't that feel like that happened like a long time ago?
Yeah.
But I don't even think it's been a week. I don't even think it's been a week. Yeah. But it's been a busy week in sports now.
James asks, are you worried about Bucs offense without Tristan to open the season on the road, indoors, loud crowd, no left tackle? Well, we do have a left tackle. Okay, we do have. He started 26 games. Look, I'm not really worried in total. Like, I think they'll find a way to score 28 points, 27, 28, 30 points, somewhere in that. I think that they're just too good not to. Now, I was a little worried that we weren't able to run the football in the preseason against Pittsburgh. That bothered me a little bit. So if we can't run the ball against the Falcons and we can't figure that part out without Tristan, I think that's a problem. So if I do have one worry, that's it. But they should be able – I mean, Heck is a pretty good run blocker. I think that they should be able to with the backs that we have and the other linemen and Baker, we should be able to score points. It's the defense I worry about. The defense. Alex S. says, JP, I got two bets to win the NFC. The Bucs at plus 1,400, Packers at plus 900. Got them right before they traded for Parson. What do you think? I like both of those bets because it's good money. Both of those. You don't have to bet a lot to win a lot, and I think they're just that's good value. Both of those. I think either one of them can win the NFC, and that's good. That's good value. Have the Packers gone up from plus 900 with Parsons now?
I think the Packers probably are right behind Philly as the favorite in the NFC, and for what it's worth, I do think they are the favorite now. I'm sorry, I think that's just what happens whenever you land a player of that caliber. Mm-hmm. To me, you become the favorite to win the conference. I think there's about 5 or 6 teams in the NFC that are very similar to one another, considering the fact that Philly lost a lot, this offseason. So I think Philly, Green Bay, Detroit, the Bucs, the Rams, depending on Stafford's health, I think those teams are all very similar to one another. But because the Packers just got the ultimate X factor, I'm kind of leaning them right now. Kudos to them for making that move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Michael LaRue said, did everyone see FSU's entire sideline dancing on Alabama's grave? That was awesome. Yeah, that was, I guess you guys didn't see it because it was in the TV timeout. Like right at the 2 minutes when they realized they got that last first down and they could just take a knee. Yeah, the place was going nuts. I think I actually have a video of that somewhere.
Was that the thing with they were playing Soulja Boy or whatever?
Yeah, they were playing Soulja Boy. The place was breaking down. The whole place was breaking down. But the players were leading it. What else we got here in the comments? Alex says, I think the Eagles smashed tonight on Thursday. I have the Eagles and Chiefs teaser for Thursday and Friday. Feels like free money. Yeah, what is it? Eagles, Cowboys?
Eagles, Cowboys. The Cowboys defense without Micah Parsons on the field since he's got there has been the second worst defense in the NFL. So there's that.
Merrill Christian says Sunday night game might be tighter and closer. Ravens and Bills. That'll be a good one.
Ooh,
You're
Sunday
really
night.
good. Mm-hmm. That is a good start. James says, when everyone says Bucs roll in week one, that's when I worry. I still say injuries killing this team before game. Played wide receiver room without two studs and no Tristan. Scary game. Listen, it's not nothing. It's not nothing, Jay. I mean, but they've got injuries too. I think the Buccaneers should have won both those games last year. And I don't think Atlanta is markedly better. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be at least a 7-point game. But I just like the Bucs. I like the Bucs in this spot to show what they're all about. Michael LaRue says Alabama record 10 seasons before Saban, 67-58 in their 10 seasons before Saban. 67-58. We forget that. There was a lot of Mike Shula, Dennis Francione, whoever that guy was. There was a lot of bad coaches in there.
Well, it's weird for me. I was too young for any of the Mike Shula stuff. I've only ever seen Saban, so it is weird for me to see Alabama 5-5 in their last 10 games. It's really weird for me.
Yeah. Like I said, get used to it, Alabama fans. And if you want to keep firing every coach you get because he's not Nick Saban, you're going to be firing coaches forever. Because there's not going to be another Nick Saban. Those days are gone. There ain't going to be another Bobby Bowden. 14 straight top fives. Not happening. So get used to it. Jeff Moore, morning to you. Agree we should dominate the Falcons. Pissed off to about the disrespect for our Buccaneers by idiot Atlanta fans. I'm sure they feel the same way about us. But, if the Bucs were to lose to the Falcons, I mean, it all depends on how the game goes. I mean, would I be shocked? No. What's the line on this game, by the way? Let me guess the line. Bucs are favored by 1.5.
The Bucs are favored by 1.5.
Damn, I'm good. Swear to God, I did not win. Yeah, that sounds about right. Nathan Elliott says, I was once told that a neutral site games are to balance the crowds. I asked why. It is to lessen the lynch mob mentality that attacks the lesser visiting fan base. Well, neutral site just becomes what it is in terms of the fan base because obviously Nebraska traveled a hell of a lot better than Cincinnati, and that is not a shock. And that's great. I mean, you got to give it to Nebraska fans. They're holding on to the 90s like me. It just hasn't been the same thing. It never will be, unfortunately, for Nebraska folks. All right, anything else? I
think we hit it just about everything today.
All right, good. My voice kind of held out for most of it. It's just what you get when you actually go to a football game and cheer. Yeah, and I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Take a time out of your Labor Day weekend to visit with us. Hope we entertained you for a little bit, informed you, made you laugh, something like that. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. Tim Ham will be back with me. And I think we'll be on our regular schedule with Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report and get ready for Bucs Falcons coming up this week. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you tomorrow.